Hello, everyone, and we're going to be looking at the upcoming severe weather that will be hitting parts of the central U.S. So, starting off here, we are looking at that Storm Prediction Center outlook. This is the severe weather outlook for tomorrow, June 6th. And you can see they have issued that enhanced risk for severe weather for parts of South Dakota, Nebraska, and North Dakota. This is the main area of concern for that significant severe weather tomorrow. All hazards, including hail, wind, and tornadoes, are possible within that type of region. Also, that slight risk of severe weather, you also do have a big risk for that severe weather within that yellow highlighted area. Definitely watch out for severe weather if you are in those types of areas. Also, lastly, we do have that marginal risk of severe weather, which is in the dark green risk. You do have an isolated thunderstorm risk, but not really anything severe. There's a severe risk for you, but definitely not much is expected in that dark green risk. Also, multiple other dark marginal risks in place over here in the mid-Atlantic. You do have a marginal risk in place for that severe weather. Also, in parts of Maine, you also do have a marginal risk of severe weather. Lastly, there's a general thunderstorm risk, which no severe thunderstorms are expected, but you still could see some general thunderstorm development within there. Main threats with those are going to be lightning and heavy rain. Here's the tornado threat, and tornado threat is pretty escalated across portions of South Dakota into North Dakota, into even parts of Montana. Also, you do have a 5% risk of tornadoes within that type of area. Definitely watch out for a couple tornadoes possible within that brown shaded area. And even in the green shaded area, you could have one or two isolated spin-ups within that type of region. So definitely tornadoes are a threat within the system. Now here's the hail threat, and the hail threat is pretty escalated as well, with that significant chance. 2-inch plus size hail is possible within that significant chance area, including that red area. That's also pretty much a significant chance for that hail. You also do have up to around the golf ball size hail within that yellow shaded area, and up to quarter size hail within the green shaded areas. There's the wind risk, and wind risk is also pretty escalated like the others. You do have that significant chance. 80 plus mile per hour gusts are possible within the storms within that kind of hatch area. Also, up to 80 miles per hour gusts within the red shaded area, up to 60 mile per hour gusts within the yellow shaded area, and up to 40 mile per hour gusts within those storms in the green shaded area. And here's the June 7th risk, and we also do have that enhanced risk for severe weather for parts of the Dakotas and Minnesota. Really have to watch out for more significant severe weather the next day. Here's the probabilistic outlook, which is not including the separate tornado, wind, and hail risks. We still do have a pretty big risk for that severe weather within there. Tomorrow we will have those separate tornado risks and wind risks and hail risks, but right now we don't have that. That's kind of the overall outlook for June 7th. Now we can look at the future simulated radar for this severe weather outbreak. Alright, so we're looking at around midnight tonight, and this is really going to happen in the early morning hours for tomorrow. You can definitely see some isolated scattered storms over parts of northeast Montana. That'll be moving into the Dakotas, North Dakota, very soon by the time you get to 1 a.m. You get to around 3 a.m. now, and you're starting to see some thunderstorm development. Not much, but you start to see some of those isolated showers and thunderstorms within that North Dakota area. You get it to around 6 a.m. tomorrow, and this is going to happen in the early morning hours. So most of the people are actually going to be asleep by the time this develops. Strong thunderstorms now developing within that Dakotas area, and these will head in kind of eastern northeast direction. Very strong thunderstorms that will be moving throughout this area. Main threats are going to be wind and hail, but definitely a couple tornadoes are possible. So definitely keep an eye on these storms, as they could be pretty dangerous, holding around 80 mile per hour plus winds. So definitely these could be some very damaging storms moving throughout the Dakotas and Minnesota. You get it to 8 a.m. and still super strong storms moving throughout the Dakotas. You get into around 9 a.m. and still, or around 10 a.m. and still those strong storms are moving throughout that South Dakota area. These storms in North Dakota, they are weakening a little bit. It's still very strong moving throughout that type of area. And then you get into around midday here, and still some strong storms entering the Minnesota, southern Minnesota area. But those have turned into those rain showers. But yeah, you get to around 2 p.m. and still some strong strong storms moving throughout the southern part of Minnesota now. But those should be weakening by the time they get to around the Minneapolis area. Then you get into tomorrow as well. And these are going to be the main storms, as you can see here. 6 p.m. Tomorrow, or I should say around right after those storms that weaken, those are going to develop right again. You're going to see multiple rounds of very strong storms. Now, these are the main storms, and you can definitely see how strong these are at kind of that South Dakota area, kind of the east part of South Dakota. These will be also moving northeast, more of an eastern direction, and mostly northeast, and those kind of form into a kind of a line of storms there. Once you get into around the overnight hours, around midnight, still a very large portion of these storms are impacting the Minnesota area. You get into around 2 a.m. tomorrow, and yeah, very strong storms. Mostly the southern part of the line of storms are going to be the strongest. And then you finally get into around tomorrow tomorrow overnight Sunday at 6 a.m. Still some strong storms moving throughout Wisconsin, western part of Wisconsin. But those should be mainly isolated by the time they get to around that type of area. If you did enjoy this video, I would ask you to subscribe if you are new to the channel, and make sure to share this video with any friends and family that might be interested in watching daily weather forecasts. But anyways, stay safe.